Now the Christians in the churches would teach the people that the shaitan created the religion of Islam and that it was an evil religion. The media and everybody seemed to hate the Muslims, and this idea was propagated through our society. But I did not hate the Muslims. I wanted to guide the Muslims to the straight path and show them that they should not worship any rock or any man or any created thing. Now, could you imagine me telling a Muslim that? Now, at this time, I didn't really understand my religion very well, so I wanted to study it. So I began to read the Bible, and I wanted to learn my religion so I could teach it to others and teach it to the Muslims. But when I read the Bible, I was shocked. I couldn't believe what is in the Bible. I was surprised that every prophet came with the same message, that there is no God except for the one true God, and that you should worship Him alone. None of the prophets taught about a Trinity, not even a single one. They all came with the same message. They all came with the message of oneness of God. When I was young, I was taught to pray like this, with my hands together, looking up to the sky. This is the way I was taught to pray, sitting on a chair, just putting your hands together like this. This is the way I was taught to pray. But when I was reading the Bible, I saw that the prophets, they fell on their face to pray. You see, if the Christians were following their Bible, they would be so similar to the Muslims, and they would not hate the Muslims, but instead they turn their backs on their own book. They don't even believe in their own book. Instead they teach something different. So how could I believe in the Trinity when none of the prophets believed in the Trinity, and none of the prophets taught about the Trinity? How could I believe in it? So I went to my family and I told them I do not believe in the Trinity, because none of the prophets did. And so they arranged for me to meet with one of my family members who is a minister. And I debated with him, and I said, I want to see where in the Bible does it say there's a Trinity. There's nowhere in the Bible. It doesn't say that anywhere. And the proofs he gave were very, very weak. And finally he became so angry with me that I wouldn't just believe it, but I just wanted to have the proof for it. I still wanted to prove the Muslims wrong, though, because I was believing what the media was telling me. I was brainwashed by the media. The media says that the Muslims worship a black rock. They worship the Prophet. They worship the moon. They do all these kinds of evil things. They oppress the weak. They are cruel to them. They are cruel to old people. They are cruel to women. This is what the media is teaching. They are even cruel to each other, their own brothers. This is what the media is teaching, and I was believing it. So I went to the mosque, and I wanted to buy a Quran, a translation of a Quran. And so I went there, and they gave it to me for free. And I had some questions, so I asked him a few questions. But then I went home, and I started studying very, very hard. I'd study for hours and hours to try and find mistakes in the Quran and find problems with their religion, but I wasn't able to find any. Any problems I found were easily explained. And the first thing that I wanted to know about this prophet of Islam, was he rich or was he poor? Because I thought that maybe he was only doing it for money. So I thought, okay, is he rich or was he poor? And I found out that he was wealthy first, and then he became poor after he began to deliver the message. And even after he began to deliver the message, they came and offered him money, but he refused it. So after I read the Quran, I knew that if there was any message from my Lord, that this was the message. And so I went to the Imam and I took the Shahada. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu an Muhammadan Rasulullah. And one of the greatest gifts that you have is that you are born into this religion of Islam. So do not turn your backs on it like the Christians have turned their backs on their religion. If only they would follow their book, they would be similar to the Muslims. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.